Well, I'll give people some time to filter on in. Um, as of right now, as far as I know, Kevin is not here tonight, so you got just me. And I don't know if I want that angle or not. I did either. All right, there we go. So, like I was saying, Kevin's out tonight. He's up in the Northwoods, potentially looking for Bigfoot. Not entirely sure. That leaves you with just me tonight. So, hey, this is all you got. We're going to do a few different things tonight. I'm going to have two things to talk about in terms of spooky talk, and going to have a taste test that I am not sure I'm ready for. However, we are going to do it. And it's either going to be disgusting or hilarious. Take your pick. It's going to be one of them. But in the meantime and in between time, oh, that reminds me, we have one other. I have one other segment that I'm going to test out. If we have enough participants, it's going to be ask Corey almost anything, and what that's going to entail is, um, feel free to ask me anything about entertainment, sports, um, music, movies. Hey Beth, how we doing? Glad to see you here. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much what we're doing tonight. Is ask me almost anything. Keep it light, fun, funny. As for shout outs, I want to give a shout out to my boss, my coworkers. We have just a great team where I work for my full time job. Uh, September's almost up, busiest month of the year, and we're still cranking through things. Hello, Mama Deal. And yeah, so shout out to them. Shout out to the ones that make you smile. You know who you are. Because I know that's just going to drive Beth nuts. So we're going to let it ride. In due time. In due time, it'll be Facebook official. Um, but far as anything else goes, we're just going to get right down to it. So I had mentioned in the yeah, I'm hilarious. Just ask me. So, like I said in the preview that I posted either earlier today or late yesterday, one of the two, days are kind of running together. Um, we did have a couple of spooky topics, so I'm going to hit the shorter one, or yeah, the shorter one first. Although I think they're both going to wind up being long stories because I'm talking about my experiences, so I might ramble because I get excited about this shit. Um, so what we're going to talk about first before I get into the taste test, because I'm trying to keep that at bay for just a little bit longer for maximum entertainment. So hang tight. It could get hairy later. Um, but yeah, so last weekend I helped facilitate a ghost hunt at the Old Baraboo Inn. It was a good time as always. We actually did have some really good activity that um, just kind of showed some different personalities. And I was able to finally talk to the infamous cowboy, who was one of the main characters, if you will, at that place, at the Old Baraboo Inn. Still haven't got any clue what exactly his first name is, although by now you would think you'd tell us. Been 100 years, dude. It's okay, you can tell us. Um, but I was using the Necrophonic Spirit Box app on my phone to facilitate communication in a few of the different rooms upstairs, just to try to see who I could, get to come through and whatever. And we had a good group. They were very, very interested in what was going on. Good energy throughout the night. And I just happened to remember, I don't know if she's watching tonight, but Liz, I already told you this last Saturday night. I'm going to just tell the story real quick because it's kind of funny. Um, so last summer, when I would work my weekends at OBI, Liz would be with me. And one night we were closing up, and she just stopped dead in her tracks right in front of one of the doors and looked at me and asked if I heard what she heard. Of course, I couldn't hear nothing. I go, "No, what's up?" And she said, "Somebody whispered in my ear and it sounded like they were taller than me." I was like, "Oh, that might be Cowboy." So fast forward to last Saturday night, doing the spirit box session in the bedroom area of the old brothel upstairs at the old Baraboo Inn. And I asked Cowboy if he was around because he had popped up a couple different times throughout the course of the evening. And I heard him come through. And I was like, "Cowboy, do you remember when you scared the crap out of Liz last year?" And I, if I'm lying, I'm dying. Slow Southern drawl come through the spirit box. Maybe. So I mean, spirits do remember, especially the intelligent ones. They love to play jokes on people. Overall, it was a good time. There's going to be haunted events going on like from now through the end of October. So if you're in the market to come hunt some ghosts, I'm most likely going to be there every weekend this coming month. So feel free to come see me there. You can see your favorite WIdiot. Um, but yeah, so I might as well rip off the band aid. We're going to do the taste test. So, what I have chosen for tonight, and I've still got a Dr. Pepper from Culver's, so this should mask the flavor pretty well when I get done. I hope. Oh hell yeah, Beth! I could totally do that. I'll reach out to Shelly here soon, and we'll get that all sorted out. I know we got to talk about scheduling and everything like that, so absolutely, we'll get that all lined up. I can almost guarantee it's going to be a Saturday, so just leave your Saturday nights open. All right. So for the terrible twosome that I'm going to do the taste test for tonight, these are ones that Kevin already did in a previous episode months ago. So we have the wasabi lays, and the seaweed lays. So, this is going to hurt me. At some level, it's going to hurt me. But we're going to go for it because that's what I do. I do this for you. So, hello to everybody that's watching on YouTube, and hello to everybody that may be viewing this on Facebook. Um, just hang tight. This is going to be fun. All right, we're going to do the seaweed first. So, okay, the smell's actually not so bad. I've been mentally preparing myself for these all day, Beth. I just have been. So we're gonna get into the seaweed first. Nice, healthy sized chip there. Again, the smell's not terrible. Down the hatch. That's absolutely not the worst thing I've ever put in my mouth. I'd have to give that a solid 6. Yeah, we're gonna do a 6 on the seaweed chips. Those are actually really damn good. Now, gotta get a little bit of a palate cleanser, if you will, because now it be time for the wasabi. This is the one I dread the most. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh God, I have opened a mistake. Oh God. All right, so I'm not in love with the smell, but it's not putting me off. So, once again, down the hatch. Not the worst thing I put in my mouth, but it's close. The flavor reminds me of like really watered down Bacardi 151. Yeah, not my favorite. I would have to say definitely a 4 on this. I mean, it's something that I could probably get used to, but as to vomit inducing, yeah, no, I don't think so. Yeah, the shit that I come up with on the fly here. Yeah, that may have been a mistake. I would love you forever if you made me that shirt. I would love you forever for that. For sure. All right. Now, being that I don't know if Scully's here, doesn't mean I'm going to dip out on the 2-for-1 taster here. All right, so here's a wasabi. Here's a seaweed. We're going to combo that shit up. Oh, I can already taste the regret. Down the hatch. You know what? That combo actually wasn't horrible. I'd give it a 5. Like straight up a 5. I would definitely not make a habit of eating the wasabi chips because, like I said, it's watered down Bacardi 151 rum. The seaweed chips, absolutely doable. Absolutely doable. Like, these are good. Now, to anybody watching that watches regularly, you know that Kevin and I normally do our NFL picks on Fridays during the show. Obviously, with him not being here, it would not be fair of me to give my picks for this weekend. So we're going to save that for when he returns. Um, but while we do that, because I know Beth will be crying now that she knows that I'm not going to be doing NFL talk. Ah, tears are coming down already. Um, so here we go with the story of the Borman house, and then I'll loop in some of my own experiences as well as the experiences that other people have had. Um, so, on to the story. Now, this is the Borman House in Mauston, Wisconsin. It's like 10 miles away from my house. Real nice, easy location, right in the middle of town. It's a nice little place to go in for a visit in the summer or in the winter when they have like the Christmas open house. I know, heartbreaking, ain't it? Um, but yeah, so here we go with the story of the Borman House. Like I said, great place to visit. They have a lot of really cool old stuff in there. It's basically the county museum these days. So when you take that into account, you can see why, there's a chance that it could be haunted because there is an attachment to some of the items there. So the Borman House is the home of the Juneau County Historical Society and showcases extensive collections of local artifacts, records, and research materials. Dr. McIntosh's medical office building is also preserved on the site, and a building housing agricultural implements, wagons, and workshops. All of these buildings have a lot of different things in them, and they have a lot of different spooky features. Um, so the Borman House is an 1876 Victorian mansion built by Benjamin C. Borman, a native of England. In 1864, he bought the Mauston Dam, mills, and water rights from the estate of M. Maws. After a fire destroyed the mills, he rebuilt the mill on the north side of the Lemonweir River to produce flour and feed. Later, he built a sawmill and a wool carding mill on the south side of the dam. Borman House features a grand staircase, a drawing room, and a widow's walk. That widow's walk has messed with my head on numerous nights during the winter. I'll tell you why in a minute. And also of note, the house is listed on the National Register of Historic Places, which is good to know. That means it's well preserved. So, with that being said, I'm going to talk about the hauntings. So, I've had the pleasure and the opportunity of exploring the Borman House in a ghost hunt setting with medium Scotty Rorick and his team. And it was a good experience both times, had a lot of activity. As you would probably guess, a house that old is going to have a lot of activity on all levels. The doctor's office is supercharged with energy, and the storage shed actually has some fun activity too. But the main characters, I guess, if you want to call it that, the main ghosts of the Borman house and the Borman property are Benjamin Borman himself, his second wife, which, if I remember correctly, her name was Beth. Weird. And then two children spirits, a little boy and a little girl that were most likely brother and sister, probably the Borman children. Funny story about the little boy ghost. The children's bedrooms were at the front of the house, right across the hall from each other. And what would happen? Yeah, really, Beth. It's so weird. Um, so what would happen is that the little boy ghost, whose name escapes me at the moment, would get up and go annoy his sister by sneaking out of the front window of his bedroom, walk across the roof, and start beating on her windows just to scare the shit out of his sister, which is good stuff. Fantastic stuff. That's just kid shit. So those two spirits are known to roam the place. Uh, Ben Borman is still very, very proud of his house. I've felt him behind me when sitting by the fireplace. Uh, had to confirm that with Scotty Rourke, the medium, and it was definitely Ben. He was just saying hello to everybody, was happy to see that so many people were in his house. And interesting story about how Ben passed. Not so much how he passed, but how they presented him after he passed. So I believe he passed due to an illness, I think maybe tuberculosis. He was still a pretty young man. I want to say he was like in his 40s, 50s maybe. And they had a sunroom. They have a sunroom at this house. And a lot of people were going to come through to view his body after he had passed. So what they did was they rigged up his coffin to tilt outward toward the window of the sunroom so everybody could see him. So, I mean, he was locked in. He was just tilted over and, waving hi to everybody as they walk by. Um, Now, I haven't encountered any instances of Ben's wife. I don't think she's talked about a lot in terms of the hauntings. Um, and being that there are so many county artifacts in the building, in the house, a lot of the people, a lot of the people that haunt the place never even lived there. They just followed their items over. Whether it was a favorite blouse or a dress or uh, item from a war they were in. So what you're saying, Beth, is you do not want to be propped up in a sunroom waving at everybody? I'll wait for your answer. um, but yeah, so it's just there's a lot in the house. You're no fun. But there's a lot going on in the house. But the place that really gives me the most energy, the one that I get activity in the most, is actually that doctor's office building that is preserved on site. The Historical Society bought the building for $1 and moved it over to the uh, Borman House property. And every time I go in there, I always feel that there's the doctor watching, as you would, because he's got to keep an eye on his shit. And then when you go back into the back room of the building, there's actually a display there of a lot of Native American artifacts. There's a diorama of the Panther effigy mound. There's stuff plastered on the walls, and there's no less than 5 dream catchers in that room. I've caught a peculiar anomaly on one of the dream catchers about 6 or 7 months ago. It was during the Christmas open house. And I just like going in there for the cookies, but I'll go and do some, solo ghost hunting because that's what's fun for me. And I went through there and I was doing like a little SLS camera gimmick on my phone. And I just happened to see this one anomaly in the dream catcher, just kind of, you know, shrugging its shoulders. Now, I didn't know then what I know now when it comes to SLS figures. Which, if you don't know what an SLS camera is, it's a camera that detects movement and then it will trace out the form that's making the movement. So if you put it on a person, it's going to draw out the shape of the person. And if it's a spirit, well, then you're going to see either a very teeny tiny shape or human-sized shape. Well, what I just happened to see on this SLS cam was one of those teeny shapes, just shrugging its shoulders. Now, if I see something on the SLS cam, I'm going to ask for it to wave or, pat its head or whatever, just to get the stick figure to do something. I didn't know that then, so didn't I didn't explore further. I just thought it was peculiar. But that doctor's office is so loaded with energy. I mean, there's an old dentist chair in there for crying out loud. And the doctor that owned that building was responsible for, I want to say it was like 3,000 babies being born. Might have actually been more than that, but he birthed a lot of children. And then that warehouse that they have on the property, uh, it's got an old water wagon. They built like a little like fake town front, like what you would see in westerns. Um, but when I was in there for one of those ghost hunts, a young lady was in there uh, and had her camera app open because she was taking pictures and just, kind of taking in the event. Well, she set her phone just like, kind of like I got mine set, in landscape view. And she was just hanging on to it. She wasn't touching the buttons. She just had her fingers on the sides like this, like this. And suddenly it just started taking pictures on its own. Nobody was pressing the button. It took probably 30 pictures, I think, and a couple of videos. It was one of the kookiest things I had seen, just in terms of ghost hunting. Uh, Basement is active in the main house, main floor is active, upstairs is active. There's so much activity on that property, and I'm glad that they're opening it up to public ghost hunts now. Um, I think if more come, I think more people should come just to experience it. But to me, the Borman House, super haunted, but nothing bad. To my knowledge, Beth, I don't believe we ever saw anything when we went through the photos, just like during evidence review. Um, I think I might have her on Facebook, but I just never got around to asking her just what, if anything came of it. But I definitely would like to know. Um, but yeah, that's about all I really have for the Borman House. I would definitely encourage anybody. Next time it's open is going to be the 2 weekends after Thanksgiving. There's going to be Christmas cookies there, coffee. The house is going to be decorated. Going to be a good time. Speaking of the Christmas time, remember how I mentioned the Widow's Walk up on the top of the building? The story is that when, especially in that time, you put a widow's walk on top of a house, especially if you had a soldier um, that lived there. The lady of the house would be up in this. It was like a extra attic, so it was like a little room above the attic, and it just had windows on all sides, so you could just be up there and observe shit as it went by. Somebody is somebody within the historical society is a cheeky individual and has decided that every Christmas there needs to be a Santa Claus, a big plastic Santa Claus in the Widow's Walk. So now I'll occasionally spook myself out when I drive by Borman House in the winter, because I'm not expecting anybody to be up in the Widow's Walk, and I just happen to see it out of the corner of my eye. Then I remember, oh yeah, Santa's up there. Makes sense. Hell yeah, Beth. We can totally make that happen. Um, yeah, and there was, speaking of YouTube channels, Paranormal Files had actually done a video on the Borman house, and there was a slight focus on something called the Hell's Delight marker. That's a whole other story all on its own. But needless to say, the guy connected with that marker, that stone marker, he unalived a lot of people of the Native American variety. Not a good dude, not at all. But the thought was that he may have been attached to that marker that was in the basement. Well, Paranormal Files went in there. They got some activity off of it, but ever since they were there a couple years ago, there's been no activity around that marker. And they also did a Native American cleansing ceremony out where that marker used to be, because there's two natives buried under the road. It's Highway 80 between New Lisbon and Necedah. My friend Jessie, you actually used to live right across the street from it, and she didn't realize it until I told her, which is funny in its own. But yeah, so that's all I have on the Borman house. Now I see we have a grand total of 4 people watching on YouTube, which is great. Um, Not sure how many are watching on Facebook. Nobody spoke up yet. I mean, this was definitely not a well promoted show this week, let me tell you. So, what I'm going to do now, bingo, there's Chris. Thanks for joining, Chris. Hope you've been on the whole time. You definitely heard my announcement of Ask Corey Almost Anything. So, we're just going to have that out there. And with that being said, we're actually going to just jump right into it. So, so it's going to be Ask Corey Almost Anything. When Kevin is here, it'll be Ask the Widiots Almost Anything. If this segment takes off. So I'm going to actually turn things over to you, the audience. Get in the comments. Ask about almost anything. We can, I think, just to test it out tonight, we'll do entertainment, music, movies, sports, wrestling, anything like that. So feel free to chime in at any time with a question. Perfect. I mean, it's all up to the audience now. So I'm sure, I'm sure Beth probably has a litany of questions to ask me. There it is. The first question from Beth. I knew this was coming. Uh, it depends on which app it is. There's a few different free ones. Um, so there's, I think it's called the Hope Spirit Box. That one is one that just detects words that come through at different frequencies, and it'll just show you the word. It's not going to talk to you. That one's free. Sano X10 Spirit Box is another free one. The Ghost Tube SLS, that is a small fee. I think it's like $5 a year, if that. Just a small fee, nothing big there. And then Necrophonics Spirit Box, I believe, is also $5 a year. It might also be $5 a month. I don't know. I don't really keep track of my expenditures that well, but they're like small expenditures, so it's nothing crazy. Great question. I typically only run one app at a time because that's all that this iPhone can muster. I mean, it's one of the brand new ones, but to run multiple apps at once would just be an overload on my battery. So I just run one at a time, but I'll switch between them as the night goes on. So it'd be a nice little rotation of the different spirit boxes, the cameras, and all that good stuff. And as for the second drink of choice tonight, it's a non alcoholic beer. This is Best Day Brewing Electro Lime uh, Circa de Cerveza. So it's a non alcoholic, lime flavored, and sea salt NA beer. Oh, fantastic question, Chris. We both came up in the same time period. So I think you probably know where I'm going. And you're right, it's Hollywood Hogan. Always has been for me. I mean, granted, I did like Hulkamania Hogan. The nostalgia run was great. I started watching kind of at the tail end of the original Hulkamania run, and I really dug the uh, I really dug the idea of Hulkamania Hogan in WCW. That was the only time where he ever had a theme that was just for him. American Made. Still one of my favorite Hulk Hogan entrance themes of all time. But Hollywood Hogan blows that out of the water. Oh God, yes, Beth. That was just an interesting combination. Um, I was actually surprised with how good it was. Not gonna lie. Absolutely, Chris. Absolutely. Uh, yeah, World Championship Wrestling was where it was at back in the '90s, especially the mid '90s. Just everything on there was fun. And I didn't really watch much WWF until about 2000. So, oop, shit. Okay, Beth brings up a good question. What do you think about Stephanie McMahon being inducted into the Hall of Fame? Honestly, I don't think we're really going to be seeing very many McMahons being inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. And if I would have had to put money on it, I probably would have bet that Steph would have made it before anybody else. So I think it was kind of one of those it's about time type of things. I mean, she's left her career behind. She's done a lot for the industry as far as, getting women more involved and just her character alone on TV in the late 90s, early 2000s was some of the best work that anybody has ever done, bar none. She comes by it naturally. Yeah, mine too, Chris. I mean, I think Sting was actually my number two, maybe even number three, depending on how I felt about DDP in a given week. My number one WCW talent was Arn Anderson, followed by Sting, followed by DDP, followed by Hollywood Hogan, followed by the Outsiders. I mean, that's kind of how it sat for me for years. Oh, my intrepid co-host has jumped on to watch. Yeah, I mean, hey, it in some ways is nepotism. But at least she's not out there handing out like busts of her own face, like her dad did at his 80th birthday party. Found out about that today. That's fun. For sure, Chris. She was probably one of the best parts of the Attitude Era, only because she let everybody insult her. Took it like a champ. Heck yeah, Mama Deal. Andre the Giant, definitely one of the greatest of all time. I actually, the funny thing about Andre is that I was watching on, I think it was ESPN. They had actually run some early Andre footage. And when I tell you, I about jumped out of my seat when I saw that big bastard throw a drop kick in like the 1960s. I about fell out my damn chair. Oh, glad you made it safe, dude. Yeah, I did see a video or a clip of that. I didn't watch WrestlePalooza because I think that was when I was working OBI because I think that was Saturday night. But I did see a video clip of it, and I agree, it was definitely an emotional thing. I mean, especially with Undertaker actually being human. Oh, and Kevin, I don't know what you rated these seaweed chips at when you had them. Not the worst thing I ever put in my mouth. Hey, Liz, welcome to the party. I did tell the story earlier of you getting scared by a cowboy at LBI. Hope you were okay with that. Um, but I had to tie it in with the interaction with Cowboy this last weekend. And we're actually right in the middle of the Ask Corey Almost Anything segment. So if you got anything like entertainment wise or whatever that you want to ask, you know, give us a shout. Yeah, you're probably right, dude. I mean, the wasabi was definitely worse. I compared it to Bacardi 151 that was watered down. And well, you know how much of that I consumed back when we would go out and carouse the bars. Deal. You have got a deal, Miss Wolf. I will be with you directly after the show. And get a good look at my face when you're doing it too. Take a screenshot or something. You know, is who wouldn't want to walk around with wearing a shirt with their own damn face on it? I know I do. Hey, we're right in the middle of the big finale segment. Ask Corey Almost Anything. So you did not miss that, but you will have to go back when the episode posts to get a look at the story and how I spun it. Um, Pretty much the same thing I told you when I had the encounter that night. So, um, but yeah, I think you'll dig it, and I'm sure you were fine with me telling it. Chris, we would definitely welcome you there. As far as I know, we're only open on Saturdays, although I do believe I'm working the Friday of Halloween. So, I mean, feel free to come on out and check us out at any time. I'm either going to be facilitating tours or bartending. And we have a whole bunch of non-alcoholic shit too, so yeah, you're fine. Kev, MCKD. Um, yeah, I have said not the worst thing I put in my mouth enough times on this show that Beth is going to make me a shirt that says not the worst thing I put in my mouth. So that's what we're going with. We're gonna have our first piece of show merch. Homegirl, Liz, you know you got this. You're a good talent, great talent with the paintings and the drawings. In fact, as you can see, there's a few of them up there on the old wall. Definitely good stuff, and I know you will do amazing things with those paintings. You got this. Oh, Mama Deal coming with the suggestions. Beth, take notes. Okay, I am falling behind a little bit on the comments, but we're gonna get right back into it. The Super Bowl train is still pulling out of the station. Choo choo, motherfuckers! The Packers are going to the Super Bowl. The Browns were just a speed bump. Unfortunately, karaoke is done. We don't have karaoke at the OBI anymore. Um, I think if we were open more nights, that might be a thing that Shelly might bring back. But for now, it's basically just a entertainment venue, a haunted venue with a bar in it. So, if things progress to where we can be open multiple nights a week, I don't see why I couldn't come back. Hell yeah, buddy. Buy some merch from us. We absolutely need to pre-order a freaking pallet of these shirts. They're going to sell like hotcakes. Oh, fantastic question, Liz. Fantastic. So we're going to hit the non-alcoholic drinks right out of the gate because it's the most recent one and it was the most putrid. Um, although it's not the worst, it's up there, and that's the Trolley Mountain Dew. Just terrible. That may have actually been the second worst thing I've ever put in my mouth in liquid form. Most disgusting thing in liquid form is actually an alcoholic drink, but as far as the worst drink non-alcoholic I've ever had, it was one of the mystery flavors that Coca-Cola came out with a few years ago. It was just absolute hot garbage. I tried to convince myself that I liked it, and I just did not. I don't even remember the name they gave it, but I think it was the one with like the puffy clouds and like the pink sky and shit on it. I don't remember what the hell the flavor was supposed to be, but it sucked. The fact that I told people it was good was a bit disingenuous of me. Some of the flavor concoctions that came out of that experimental period for Coca-Cola they're actually decent, but some of them were just terrible. So that was probably about the worst soda I've ever had in my life. As far as the worst alcoholic drink I've ever had, it all goes back to Bacardi 151. Bacardi 151 on its own is terrible. Also terrible on its own is Wild Turkey. Guess who consumed a pair of Jaeger bomb type atrocities with those liquors. I had both in the same night. Both were terrible. Just absolutely terrible. I cannot smell Monster Energy drink ever again in my life without thinking about that night, which was about, oh, at this point, damn near 20 years ago. It was 2007 in the summer. And you've seen the pictures, Liz. You know the aftermath. That was a turkey bomb and a 151 bomb. Neither one were great. Bacardi 151 is by far the worst alcoholic drink I've ever had in my life. As someone that's never drank Everclear, Bacardi 151 is the number one worst. It's fucking jet fuel. Yes, Galaxy, that's the one. Yeah, I knew somebody would come up with that. Yeah, Galaxy was just absolute dog shit. Yeah, uh, you are far smarter than me when it comes to that, Liz. I actually plowed right through the bottle. I uh, I, I just had to see if it was just as bad at the end as it was at the beginning, and unfortunately, it was just as bad as it was at the end as it was at the beginning. Yeah, most forms of Bacardi are just absolute shit, but 151's the worst. Oh yeah, Starlight was garbage too. Oh god. Oh, terrible. Frostbite. That stuff was good. I think that was like a blueberry flavor, if I remember right. Either way, fantastic. Yeah, if you want to see me go from zero to mechanimal in like 5 seconds, yeah, absolutely. Feed me a Long Island from Dirty Turtle. Agreed, Beth. Gross. Just gross. Uh, oh, and Kevin will be quite happy to see this. I busted out the Mad Mel shirt. Yeah, not even drunk tonight, and I'm like screwing up my own nickname. It's Mechanimal, not Mechanable. That's now. If I lived in Plainfield, it might be Mechanable, but I don't live in Plainfield. Yes, sir. Mad Mel Kiper. All right. Any other questions for me tonight? I'd love to keep this going at least a little longer because, well, I don't have much else to do tonight. I better make sure I didn't accidentally grab a wasabi chip. Okay, that's seaweed. I'm actually kind of surprised nobody's asked me what the worst thing I've ever put in my mouth was. Very surprised. I might tell you. Oh, we're going to take one more run at the stupid wasabi chip because I don't know. I'm a glutton for punishment. Ugh! Oh my god, it's even worse. Oh, Beth. Great question. The thing is, and I say this full out, people know that I am not afraid to call a man pretty. Charlie Hunnam is way too pretty to be Ed Gein. Way too pretty. It's just not a good fit looks wise. And I have seen some of the preview, like, photos of what he looks like in the part, and that ain't it. They should have found somebody ugly or somebody of not conventional looks. You know who would have probably been perfect for Ed Gein? Willem Dafoe. I'm not saying Willem Dafoe is ugly. I'm saying he's average. Could have even grabbed Steve Buscemi, and I think it probably would have fit. I mean, granted, I'm sure they're going on some sort of a budget, but I mean, I'm interested to see how it works out, but about time somebody asked. Kraft macaroni and cheese, by far the worst thing I ever put in my mouth. Terrible. And that includes the terrible school like mac and cheese that they tried to serve us in like the 90s. I will die on this hill. Mac and cheese is the worst thing ever. Ever. Period. Bar none. And it makes Italians cry. Kev, are you referring to the Mad Mel shirt? I got that off the Pat McAfee show store website back in like 2020. In fact, I've got a whole boatload of PMS crew shirts. There is the St. Patrick's Day one from 2020 with the goat on the keg. Um, the not British one that they came out with in 2020. I got a whole lot of Pat McAfee show shirts, so I'll be rotating them through on the podcast. Just gonna kind of scroll through here and see what else I may have missed. Buddy, we definitely will need to do a live react on at least maybe the first round, so that Thursday night. Um, we'll definitely work that out. We got a few months. We'll figure it out. Yeah, I agree, Beth. It will be interesting to see how they pull this off. I'm not excited about it, but I'll probably watch it just out of morbid curiosity. Yeah, actually, I got a couple of For the Brand shirts too, somewhere around here. I'll figure it out. My favorite phrase to say, it's almost a crutch at this point. I love to say right on. I say it to everybody. I don't even know where I got it from. No, in fact, I do know where I got it from. There was a guy I used to play poker with. I think his name is Byron. Yeah. Played poker with this dude. He said right on all the time, and I just, I picked it up. So now it's my crutch. It's catchy. It catches on. I mean, I think that's just our age. We just say that shit. Homegirl, you know that's definitely up there. Ale Yeah is absolutely up there. See? Beth caught it. Cheers, folks. So, last call for questions. I'm going to try to wrap it up here in the next few minutes. I do have to get ready to go to work again tomorrow because apparently the bugs don't sleep and neither do I. So, feel free to get some last minute questions in. I think this is a segment we're going to keep around because I don't know, I'm having fun with it. I'm sure when we have a little bit larger viewership numbers, we might get a few more questions rolled in, which will be great. Actually, I'm going to bring this one back up for a second because um Liz was around for this one as well. Um just so happened to have shirts that said Ale Yeah on them at the Potosi Brewing Company's shop in Potosi. Needless to say, we got matching shirts. I'm sure hers is still hanging around somewhere. Um, but it was just, it's just a nice shirt with, it was a gray background and two of the different beers that Potosi brews. So I think it was Cave Ale and Good Old Potosi. The cans were represented on the shirt, and it just said Ale Yeah. I thought it was one of the funniest things I had seen in my life, and luckily she agreed. The chief marketing officer has spoken. Yes, we are keeping it. Right on, Liz. You have a good night. Ale Yeah, and good luck with your paintings. I'm sure you're going to do just great. Rest up. The seaweed chips are growing on me. I think I had them sitting at a 6, and it's still a solid 6. The wasabi can go straight in the garbage. Yep, from the Widiots and everybody involved, we wish you the best of luck on your on selling your paintings, Liz. So you have a great time out there. Last call for questions, folks. While I'm waiting for any further questions, I think for the future, um, when we do the Ask the Widiots anything, almost anything, I think what we probably will do is um, probably have you guys submit your questions during the week because we won't do it every week. We'll probably do it maybe once a month. We'll just do it as a supplement, to counteract the lack of Florida man, Wisconsin guy, or anything like that. Um, so maybe just send those to the. I think you can send the Widiots page on Facebook the questions. If you go in the yeah, I think you can just straight up message us directly. Um, and just send in those questions during the week, and then we'll just go right through. We'll find what works for us, and we'll answer them on air. I'm sure it'll be a fun segment. We'll get some questions live too. But I think having a uh, little bit of order amongst the chaos is gonna be a good call there. Thanks, Chris. We're definitely gonna keep it. Again, the chief marketing officer has come to an agreement with us, so we're gonna definitely hang on to it. Agreed, Mama Deal. It is my favorite beer in the state of Wisconsin. Nothing better than good old Potosi. And they keep cranking out such good shit. I have yet to get down there this year, but I am at some point before the snow flies. Maybe next month. Take the one that makes me smile down there. Although she gets car sick, so I don't know. I'll probably have to load her up on Dramamine or something. I don't know. Nah, she'll be fine. She'll be fine. Maybe I'll make her drive. Oh shit, she gets lost. We'll figure it out. But all right, well, we did go over an hour, and yeah, she'll be fine. Be all right. But on that note, I think we're going to just go ahead and wrap her up for the night. Thanks for everybody that came on and chitter chattered with me. Pitter patter, let's get at her. And next week, we're back to full strength. Kevin will be back, uh, probably with some Bigfoot hair or something. I don't know. Maybe he'll tell me that he saw a snowflake and he creamed his pants. I don't know. And we'll get right back on our horse with the NFL picks. We'll go over, I think it was week 3, what our picks were, and then we'll just roll into week 5. We could just skip week 4. Although I will say, go Packers and fuck the Cowboys. And on that note, in the meantime and in between time, same Widiots time, same Widiots channel. We'll see you next week. I love most of you. Good night.